was invited to be part of the festival in Santarcangelo by Eva and Lisa. When I was invited, I thought that I should make a project that only I can make. So, and as I do not speak Italian, as I mostly work with documentary material and documentary approach, then it is always very important for me to be able to speak the same language with protagonists of my project. So I thought that, of course, here I could speak Russian language, and I know that the surroundings of Rimini have quite a few people who speak Russian. But first of all, I thought that there would be somebody who works in tourism. But then I learned about the women who work in the Italian homes as caregivers, badanti. And I got really interested in this phenomenon because it has so much to do with this very essential condition for every human being, which is to bear the weight of life. Also, my own family situation was so that there was a family member who needed care, and as an artist I had to switch my artwork to care work because we do not have badanti in Estonia. Yes, and then I met with Isadora Angelini, who is an actress, more or less a similar profession to mine, always depending on projects and not being very certain about if there is job tomorrow or there is no. And also I found out that Isadora is not herself taking care of her grandmother, but that all of her family, all the women in the family, and not only women, their father also, everyone works in order to be able to pay a badante to take care of their grandmother. So this was really interesting to me because it's a very similar but also very different situation. And then I started looking at this phenomenon of badanti from different perspectives, like from the perspective of that woman and other women like her, like Alina in Isadora's family case. And then also I looked at her mother, who should be retired, but who is still working because there is a need for it. Well, but conceptually, what really clicked in my mind was that this some kind of perception or like image that okay, there are these Italian women who pay someone to take care of the nonna, but then they have all this free time and they can dedicate themselves fully to their professional life. But what actually came out is that there are so many glass ceilings that also the Italian women actually bump into because they are women, and because in some situations they cannot fully realize themselves professionally because they are considered not young enough or something like this. From the perspective of the immigrant women who do this physical labor, there are also many side effects to this situation, let's say. It's because many of these women in their home country had absolutely different work life. Most of them were doing intellectual work, and when they arrive in Italy into this foreign environment, they suddenly have to face different cultural situation, different family situation, different home, and also the physical labor which they are not prepared to do. There is a whole sequel in my project that deals with this effect of gravity on the human body, and almost every woman that I interviewed has a story to tell about her broken back. This work is about Badanti and Samantha Cristoforetti, the first Italian woman in space. And at first glance, this connection might seem bizarre immigrant women who bear the weight of the Italian families, of caring for the elderly people, and an Italian woman who migrates into the physical condition of zero gravity. But in fact, these women have a lot in common. Lighter Than Woman is a project about gravity and the ways to overcome gravity. Poetically speaking, gravity is the heaviness of life itself. And I look at the paradoxes of gravity from different perspectives, like in the physical sense and metaphorical sense. So when we speak about overcoming gravity physically, then Samantha Cristoforetti is this kind of both radical image of an emancipated Italian woman, but also she represents the possibility of escaping the gravity of everyday life. And then on the other side are these badanti who in their daily lives have to lift another person, often it happens so. And they have the full physical experience of gravity. And like many astronauts, when they come back from space, they talk about the sensation of gravity in their body, because when you're in the state of weightlessness, you forget that even your hands or even your lips or eyelids have weight. But then as a badante, when you work and you have to lift another person, you experience gravitational overload. Badanti also experience the sense of weightlessness, but this is metaphorical weightlessness, because as an immigrant in a foreign environment, like a space would be for an astronaut, you are weightless because you gravitate between two different homes. You have your own family and your own home somewhere behind, and then you are suddenly in somebody else's home that is where you are supposed to work, but also feel at home as well, because otherwise you cannot do this work. So they come here and then they realize that they stay, they come for half a year, but they stay for 18 years. So there is this permanent state of temporary. So you are also kind of suspended in this. And actually, Samantha Cristoforetti is also an interesting kind of tool to think about migration. Because in a way she brings this whole concept of migrating to some sort of absurd level, let's say. Because she's migrating around the earth 16 times a day. So for her there are no borders. As a documentary filmmaker and artist who works with documentary material, the main task is to bring this documentary material to a poetic level. So you have to find a way how to detach yourself from the gravity of the material, let's say, from the gravity of everyday life.